Beto ORourke seemingly endorses third trimester abortions. That should be a decision the woman makes. White House hopeful Beto ORourke seemingly endorsed the practice of third trimester abortions at a campaign event in Ohio on Monday, less than a month after Senate Democrats that would have required doctors to provide medical care to newborns amid a swirling in Virginia. The third trimester extends from the 28th week of pregnancy up until birth, and that nearly 80% of Americans oppose such late abortions. ORourke responded F. He then quickly took another question, as sustained applause broke out. Fox News reached out to ORourke's campaign to confirm his position on third trimester abortions but did not receive a reply. Alexandra DeSantis, a staff writer at the conservative National Review, characterized ORourke's remarks as a cynical sleight of hand. Notice how Beto takes an articulate question about abortion after fetal viability and the medical details of these procedures and restates it to the crowd as a question about abortion and reproductive rights, DeSantis tweeted. That's what
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park pot.